Hey, it's Wolfwaves here, and today I just wanted to talk about something that is kind of difficult to talk about because as of now, I really like the game. Like, I'm in love with this game. When I first started playing Monster Hunter World, I really didn't like it. I had put like 10 hours into the game, and I found myself frustrated most of the time. A big reason of that was Monster Hunter World doesn't pull any punches. Like, they just throw you into the mix. And it kind of doesn't explain things to you in a very concise way, so you are left with a lot of guesswork. So my adventure started when Monster Hunter World was revealed. Monster Hunter World was revealed in E3 2017, and when it was revealed, I was super hyped. When they revealed this game at E3, they were saying that it's one of the first like major mainland titles for consoles, and I was stoked because parts of it reminded me a lot of Shadow of the Colossus, and Shadow of the Colossus is hands down one of my favorite games ever of all time. So I waited for the beta to come out, and once the beta did come out, I immediately downloaded it and played it, and I loved it. I actually played it with my little cousin. We both were fighting all those main monsters. I think they let you fight like Baroth and the Great Jagras. I don't know if they let you fight Anjanath. If they did, I didn't get that far into the beta, but all I knew is that I liked it. The combat was really difficult for me. It didn't have that auto magnetism, like that lock on. The combat reminded me a lot of like The Legend of Zelda and Dark Souls, but the combos and the way you would swing is, if you're swinging in a direction, you're committed to that direction. You can't move your body once you start doing an attack. That was a hurdle that I knew I was gonna have to get over. So I pre-ordered the game, and once I started playing it, I found myself really frustrated because I didn't know what I was doing. I beat the first 2 or 3 monsters with not relative ease. You know, I struggled a bit, but I did get through it. But once I hit the Anjanath, my God, man, I could not do it for the life of me. I don't know what it was. Me and my little cousin we kept trying to fight the Anjanath over and over and over again to no avail. And I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I knew I was doing something wrong. I just didn't know what, because Monster Hunter World is a very convoluted game. And before, I thought that was a negative aspect of it. I thought there was way too much going on. I felt like I would have to put in hundreds and hundreds of hours to even understand the micro elements of the game. I guess maybe I was just spoiled by the fact that most games nowadays sugarcoat the mechanics. They hold your hand a lot, and I guess I got used to that. I guess you could say I'm disappointed in myself a bit. At the end of the day, I let Monster Hunter World go. I stopped playing it for months. I stopped playing Monster Hunter World. I felt sad because the game seemed like something that was right up my alley. I'm a huge ARPG nerd, so I love loot-based games. Like, loot-based games are my shit. Borderlands, fucking Diablo, Path of Exile. That gameplay loop is something that I enjoy a lot. So seeing me dropping Monster Hunter World, it broke my heart. But then I found another game that was very, very similar to Monster Hunter World. Dauntless. It caught my eye. They did a reveal. I'm not too sure when the date was for it, but they did a reveal for Dauntless, and it's the exact same premise as Monster Hunter World, but it seemed more streamlined. It seemed a lot more simple to understand. And to a certain point, I understood it very well when I was finally able to play it in open beta. I fell in love with Dauntless. I played the shit out of Dauntless, and after a while I started to realize, like, hey, they kind of made that Monster Hunter World formula very simple. Like, they made it very simple to understand. It was like, listen, you're gonna go kill that monster, you're gonna use its body parts to craft armor, to craft weapons, you're gonna find plants in the map, you're gonna use those to create potions to boost your stats. Now, hearing me say that statement, that sentence right now, it's exactly what Monster Hunter World is. But the problem was that I was so lost with everything there was to do in Monster Hunter World that it kind of blinded me. You're doing the exact same thing. You're killing monsters, you're using their body parts to craft weapons and armor, and you're finding items on the map to craft potions and to craft different stat boosting items. After I started playing Dauntless, and after I got into Dauntless, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try out Monster Hunter World again. I don't think I gave it enough of a chance, and to my surprise, I've played more Monster Hunter World now than I've played Dauntless. Once I got back into Monster Hunter World, I sat down and I said, okay, listen, Dauntless and Monster Hunter World are literally the same gameplay loop. What is the difference between Dauntless and Monster Hunter World? And the difference is the fact that Monster Hunter World is so much deeper. It kind of buries those simple mechanics underneath a bevy of gameplay elements. When I was playing Dauntless, if I wanted to craft potions, I'd walk up to a guy that crafts potions. In Monster Hunter World, it doesn't work that way. You have to do that. You have to figure things out. There's massive lists of items for you to craft, and not all of those are unlocked. Some of those have question marks and you don't know what you're doing. Like, you don't know what to do. The first error that I made with Monster Hunter World was that I wasn't talking to any of the NPCs. I was already overwhelmed with all the other gameplay elements I had to learn, that I didn't even talk to the NPCs. But the second that I started talking to every NPC, I was getting sub-quests unlocked, investigations, events, optional quests. I was realizing that I was just ignoring a huge chunk of content in the game. Actually, I was disappointed in myself because I realized that this game is meant for those who really apply themselves. And the second that I did that is the second that I fell in love with Monster Hunter World. I love Monster Hunter World, and I actually love it more than Dauntless. Dauntless still to me is a great game, and it takes a lot of what Monster Hunter World is and fits it into a very streamlined package. But at the end of the day, in my heart, I like intricate systems. Even though I get frustrated at first, I still really love intricate systems, and Monster Hunter World does not disappoint with that. I went back to that Anjanath that was giving me so much trouble. I went into my hunter's notes and did the monster field guide thing and talked to all the resource centers and got all these investigations, and I started grinding gear. I started learning about each monster. Capcom really wants you to learn about their monsters. They want you to take it serious. They want you to be an actual hunter. They want you to role play, and that's what I was missing. So the second I started doing that, the game completely changed. I crafted Anjanath resistant armor, and I think he's susceptible to water, so I created like an aqua blade. I used the greatsword. Greatsword users for the win, by the way. I crafted an aqua greatsword. I made some. I think I actually just crafted bone armor and just upgraded it to as much as I could because it's fire resistant. But the second I did that, I also tried to not play greedy, because if you try to play greedy in Monster Hunter World, you're gonna have a bad time. If you keep trying to like attack these fools and not wait for an opening, and you're trying to play for speed rather than for quality, you're going to fail and you're going to get frustrated. And that's another big mistake that I made. I was trying to play for speed. I was just playing one quest after the other. I was like, all right, take me to the next monster, I'm done. But no, the game is not played that way. The game is meant for you to grind. You have to grind the shit out of it. You have to. The game does that so well that you don't even mind grinding. The game is so fun that you don't care that you have to kill the same beast over and over again. It's amazing. And on top of that, capturing the monsters, oh man, capturing the monsters completely, again, changed the way I view the game. You can't really capture monsters in Dauntless. You better actually capture the monsters in Monster Hunter World, because it gives you way more stuff, and it makes the grinding a little bit more dynamic, and it makes that each fight different. I beat the Anjanath at the end of the day. Long story short, I beat the Anjanath, and from then on, I knew exactly how to play Monster Hunter World. I got into it, and I'm still super into it. I can't believe that I almost gave up on Monster Hunter World, but I'm so glad that I didn't, because this game franchise is actually turning into something that's becoming super important to me, just like The Witcher and just like Shadow of the Colossus. Monster Hunter World is an experience that every single gamer should go through. Not because of how silly and crazy it is, but because of how it takes you into this world and it expects you to actually live in it. Because if you don't, you'll fail. And that's something that I actually took away. After I was playing through Monster Hunter World, and after I started to understand the mechanics of it, I realized that while Dauntless is a very, very well-crafted game, and I'm not going to take away from the developers who created Dauntless, because that game's awesome, they have a lot of catching up to do in terms of depth in order to match anywhere near the level of Monster Hunter World. I mean, in Dauntless, you don't have two monsters fighting each other on the same map. Actually, in Monster Hunter World, you can have, I think it's like up to 4 or 5 different monsters in a one map, and they all interact with each other. In Dauntless, you can't really do that. It's more of like you land on an island and you kill the monster that's on that island. That's about it. You rinse and repeat. This game, way more deep. You can find yourself in a pickle. You can find yourself in a very, very bad spot. I was fighting the Anjanath, and there's a point, I think it happens every time, but there's a point in the battle where he goes up to the top of this mountain, and a fucking Rathalos comes out. A Rathalos comes out of nowhere, and they start having a turf war, and they're fighting each other. And that Rathalos grabs Anjanath in its talons and throws him on the ground and does some massive damage. And the entire time that happened, me and my little cousin were just, our minds were blown. We were completely caught off guard. I can't say that that happened to me in Dauntless. I think the closest that came for me in Dauntless was when the creatures turn red and they get all angry. In Monster Hunter World, there's also different states of mind for the monsters, but they don't really turn red. It's more like you have to really pay attention to the animations and their tells, and when they're gonna attack, when they're tired, what their patterns are like. It just has so much more depth to it. And as soon as I realized what Monster Hunter World was, I couldn't put it down, and I still haven't put it down. I'm not even at 100 hours. shit, I'm not even halfway there, but I intend on putting a lot of time in this game. I'm trying to get to high rank right now. I'm still on my low rank missions, but I'm about to hit Zora Magdaros for the 3rd time, I believe this is. So I think this is it. I think I'm reaching the end where Zora Magdaros is. And I believe I'm hoping at least, that's when the high rank missions start to become available, because I really want to grind some of that high end armor. Another thing that I really liked about Monster Hunter World are the palicos. The palicos are just, I mean, they're just cute. They're like these cats that give you support, and you can customize them, you can name them, you can change the color, the length and thickness of their fur. You can give them different stats and buffs. You can actually even craft them armor, weapons, and gadgets using the same monsters you're killing and using for your armor and weapons. Dauntless doesn't have that kind of depth. It doesn't have that kind of customization. And it's something that I find that it's missing. I hope that the devs really take a lot of inspiration from Monster Hunter World. I don't want them to copy it. I want them to have their own thing. I really like that Dauntless has that arena feel. Like, it feels like you're fighting in this grand arena, and it's really cool. Whereas Monster Hunter World is more like you are a surveyor and you're taking care of monsters that are out of control or overpopulated. That's what it feels like to me. Like, you're a crew out there to control the population, and Dauntless is more of like an arena type thing. So I really could have easily given up on Monster Hunter World. I easily could have left it to gather dust in my digital library. I could have just written it off as being too complex and too complicated and too difficult. But in reality, if I would have done that, I would have been missing out on one of the best games in this generation. And I can't wait for Capcom to release some more DLC and some more monsters. I know it's going to live forever. Like, it's going to be one of those great franchises. Now that it came out as a mainland title here in the States, not on a portable or handheld or Wii console or anything like that. It's on one of the most popular consoles. I really hope that the success that this franchise has had keeps Capcom in the state of mind that Monster Hunter World should be here to stay, and I'm super glad that I got back into it. Again, my name is Wolf Waves. Thanks for listening. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you liked my opinion but didn't like the video, again, I'm not trying to play the system. Just give me a thumbs down. Tell me what I can do to fix it and make it a better video. And just stay tuned for more. I'm going to be doing little impressions and articles and stuff like this. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. Have a great day, and peace, love, and gaming.